So, if I was going to explain the way that I facilitate addiction recovery, I'd have to say I'm a mix of old school and new school. Old school is I have a real propensity to encourage people to explore abstinence and ways to achieve abstinence. I always want to put the medical needs of a person first. I'm always encouraging them to check with a primary care physician before they go anywhere in this undertaking. And I urge them to be really super honest. And I'll say to them, lie to your spouse, lie to your boss, lie to me, but don't lie to your doctor. We can't treat what we don't accurately understand. So, assuming that a person has gotten some degree of medical stability, they have a plan for going through detox or the withdrawal symptoms, I always want to put their recovery from substances not just first, but really primary over anything that's going to be addressed in mental health. My experience is that any gains or progress that a person will make in mental health will ultimately be lost if they relapse, if they continue using drugs and alcohol. Conversely, what I find is that everything that a person learns and experiences in addiction recovery is also applicable to trauma recovery and to mental health in general. So this is a win all the way around, but the foundation of dual diagnosis recovery should always be on sobriety or medicated assisted treatment or whatever it is that your client's choosing that comes foundationally to better health. After having said all of that, I want to add one really important caveat, which is based in my experience working with trauma survivors. Safety is our number one concern. And so safety is why I'm concerned with getting my client cleared medically, making sure there's a plan to go through detox in a way that's safe. But then once we get beyond the physiological, safety is about PTSD. It's about wanting to crawl out of your own skin. Many years ago, I worked with an elderly woman actually who came into recovery the last time in her early 70s. And what she said to me was so extraordinary. She had been examined medically, and they believed that she was too far gone in late stage alcoholism. She was to be shipped to a nursing home, and she's one more miracle that I've witnessed. She shocked her doctors, made a full recovery, was in complete control of her faculties, and was able to be a fully independent functioning adult who still wanted to drink. So when she came to see me for treatment, she actually did something that I really appreciated. She interviewed me. And she went on to explain that she had engaged in treatment many, many times over the years, but that every time she had been referred to a clinician, that they had been uncomfortable talking about her trauma history. And so she wanted to know right up front if I was going to be willing to, as she put it, go there and talk about the things that she most needed to talk about. And after I answered all of her questions and assured her that I was, she said something to me that was so simple but so powerful. She said, if I was going to explain myself, I would say it this way. Every time I get sober, I remember. And every time I remember, I get drunk. That, in and of itself, was enough to create a cycle that lasted over 6 decades of her life. And it makes perfect sense to me, as I think it should to anyone. But the trick then is, how do we help a person to feel safe? And safety is, of course, the most basic and most important of all human needs. But in a very real sense, it's completely abstract. To help someone to feel safer is a massive undertaking. But my suggestion to her was that we start with grounding strategies, that we start with her physiological sense of control and the current environment in which she finds herself. My challenge to her was to plant her feet on the floor, to look for muscle tension in her body and release it, to focus on her breathing, and to listen to her intuition and what it was telling her about her current environment and the people in it. And she brightened. She said, I have this awareness that there is no threat in my environment, and that doesn't make me feel good, but it makes me feel okay. And so we built on that over the short term, and progressively, her desire to drink waned as her sense of personal safety and autonomy in her present environment and present life circumstances grew. So I think that's the most vital and important piece that we're missing in terms of early addiction recovery. And I want to challenge you to think about the ways in which you help your clients and others that you serve to feel safe. Because my experience is, yes, there are always helpful coping strategies and coping skills that we can offer. But what really is vital and paramount to our success is that we ourselves are safe people, and those we serve get to experience us as such. So I encourage you to reflect on that, and we'll build on this some more in the next video.